Transportation and housing costs represent some of the largest sections of any person's budget. So teaching students about how they make decisions about how they're going to get to their job, where they're going to live, those things are really important in any personal finance course, and that's one of the reasons why we emphasize them in Keys to Financial Success.
So the unit on transportation and housing prepares students for the real world because it's giving them a safe environment to take a look at buying a car, driving a car, looking at buying a home.
Back when the students did their budgeting at the beginning of the course, they had a certain percentage that they were going to be taking out for housing and a certain percentage that they had to set aside for transportation. So now we want them to look at what are the alternatives they have for this. So they need to have a more realistic idea of that it isn't just your rent that you're going to have to pay when you go to live on your own, that you have other expenses that you don't have when you're living at home. Can I afford to move out on my own? So they have to look at what will it cost? Well, you need your security deposits and the first month's rent. You have to look at a utilities deposit. A lot of times, particularly the guys, never think that they need to furnish an apartment.
What we do is we hand out newspaper circular ads or ads that we've taken from different websites. And basically we ask them to furnish a room. And so what's neat about it is they go often all out to try to furnish this room. And then they find out the room cost this amount of money. They then look at their budget and they realize, I've overspent already and I've only furnished one room.
When we're covering buying a car, I don't tell them what type of car they have to buy. I tell them what they can't buy. They can't buy a Ferrari. They can't buy a Rolls Royce. We give them a dollar amount, but they get to make their own decision. They get to do their own research, and they get to figure out how much per mile it costs to drive that automobile. So it gives them the opportunity to be their own decision makers and to do that critical thinking piece.
And what's always kind of interesting about that is the students go down to the computer lab, they punch in the information on the website that we have with the payment calculator, and they're often surprised on the amount of money they have to pay each month for a certain type of car. They're often surprised on the amount of money they have to pay depending on their down payment.
One of the things we want students to understand when they leave Keys to Financial Success is that you don't always have to buy a new car. Used cars often offer really great value. So we have students looking at the differences in the prices of new cars versus used cars and thinking critically about the value proposition that's associated with potentially buying a used car over a brand new one.